So what if your success this time wasn't dependent on how little you weigh, but actually how much better your life feels?
So if you're only judging the scales on your progress, then you're missing out on so much more health benefits, mental health benefits, and just generally feeling better in your own skin.
When your weight is the only measurement of your success on your journey, every single time it fluctuates, it's going to feel like a failure.
Mm-hmm. Is this where I jump in now?
Well, I thought you might have, but that's fine. I'll carry on going. So essentially what that means is, you're going to ignore all the other signs. You're going to become either obsessive with the scales, where you're going to be on them all the time and you're going to be punishing yourself for it for every tiny up or down. You are going to go the other way, and you might then completely avoid the scales because you're so petrified of what they're going to say. So then you start thinking, nothing's working for me. It must be something wrong with me. And it's such a damaging emotional roller coaster when all you do is focus on the scales.
Body weight is a general black and white old school way of judging progress. But there's so many other better ways of judging your progress. So things like how you're feeling. You could be judging maybe your waist measurement to be seeing maybe you're losing visceral fat, because obviously that's where your vital organs are kept. So you could be judging your progress on maybe I'm losing weight in the right places. Maybe my clothes are fitting better. There is so many better ways of judging your progress. Yes, you still want to be using weight as a general rule to making sure your BMI is in a reasonable place, but it's not the be all and end all.
No, 100%. Even things like walking up the stairs and not fighting for your life at the end of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I remember
levels.
when I was at my heaviest, I would go up the stairs and I would just remember being like, fucking hell, like I'm out of breath coming up the stairs, and my legs would hurt. Like, what about one of your clients he's like 86 years old, put his socks on every day on his own, where before he couldn't do that. Like, that's such a huge success, and that's a huge part of his progress. You're telling me we're only going to have to look at his weight to see if he's making progress? No.
Fitness levels, strength levels. There's so many amazing ways to track progress, because we're worth a lot more than just what that number says.
100%.
Like one client, don't get me wrong, she's lost a dramatic amount of weight. She's lost 25 kilos, but no one's going to see her and go, wow, how much do you weigh? They just go, wow, you look incredible.
Exactly.
Like, no one cares how much you
but
actually
it comes
weigh,
part
apart
and
from
parcel.
your doctor, perhaps.
Yeah, it comes part and parcel of actually how she enters that room.
Yeah.
Because she used to say, oh, I'm just so-and-so's mum, where now she's like, no, I am my own person. Like, she is so much more confident, so much more vibrant. She feels so good in herself, and she feels good at how her clothes are fitting her. I mean, the fact that she has to keep going and buying new clothes, maybe her bank account's not as happy.
Don't send us a bill for new clothes, please.
But essentially, what we're saying is, yes, while she did lose an amazing amount of weight, that isn't really where her success was. That wasn't the core of her progress.
Let's imagine that she didn't lose scale weight because she was building muscle, and she was just, had a bit more inflammation from extra exercise that she was doing, and she was drinking more water. So maybe she had a bit more water retention, for example. Let's just say there's a few factors, or maybe she was eating more carbohydrates. But she was still on the trajectory to do this 25 kilo loss. But she judged it on the scales. The first few weeks, she goes, I'm not losing weight, I'm going to give up. Wow, she would never got to 25 kilos.
Absolutely.
She would have given up like first few weeks. But she was still on that trajectory to get there.
Yeah.
It's just the scales do this. We'd like them to do this. We would like to go starting weight, end weight, doof.
And you just go...
I wish. He goes at this.
Nothing in life.
Yeah, and you got to allow for things like muscle growth as well. And muscle is very, very dense.
Should we talk about that, actually? Because I think some people will be like, oh, yeah, fair enough you saying that, but all I care about is my weight, because that is where they're mentally at right now, because I get it. Like, I was mentally there as well. Let's talk about fluctuations. Like, what do we actually mean by that? Like, why is it sometimes I'm heavier? Why is it sometimes I'm lighter? So you were going to say about muscle, that's why I just jumped in.
Yeah, so
talk to me about muscle, sir.
Okay, so... Good example. Yesterday I was at a diabetes workshop with NHS specialists in diabetes, and one of the specialists said to me that lots of people are on weight loss medication to lose weight, and yes, it does help people lose weight, but they lose all weight.
Yes.
Therefore, muscle mass goes down and body fat goes down, which then means in terms of like insulin and in a diabetes aspect of regulating blood sugar levels, it's not going to be as affected if you've lost body fat but built muscle. So if the scales aren't going down, which I'll be honest, I did a photo shoot and didn't actually lose much weight. I looked dramatically different from one photo to the next.
Hugely different, yeah.
But my weight didn't change that much. Not as much as you think. Obviously I did lose weight along the way, but not as much as you think. Because I was training with weights, I was eating quality food, so there's actually more food in the digestive system. You've got to think about the weight of the food you're eating. If you eat a bar of chocolate, which is like 500 grams, yeah, but lots and lots of calories.
Yeah.
The weight of the food isn't actually a lot, but we're
No.
talking about the calories of the fat that's going to gain from that is going to be quite significant. But if you compare that to maybe eating 500 grams of chicken in a day and 500 grams of potato in a day, and then you're adding in fluids, because you're going to retain more water, etc. The weight of the food, you're going to jump on the scales and go, oh, I still need weight. But you've got to think, the next few days, it's going to come back out.
But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying is like, let's break it down in simple terms of, right, okay, everyone says I want to lose weight.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose weight because we can all lose weight. I tell you.
That's a pound. It's a couple of pounds if you're up to the top.
Yeah, but what I mean is like, let's dive into the importance of fat loss to muscle loss.
Yeah.
Right? So everyone can lose weight. I know you're thinking, oh, you bitch. What do you mean? It's easy. What do you mean? No, you don't want to lose weight. You want to lose fat.
No one wants to lose weight. They want to lose fat.
You lose your muscle, that's it. You've lost your longevity. You lose your muscle, it's fucking hard to get
You're not capable.
back.
You want to be capable.
You're not capable.
As human beings, we want to be capable to lift up stuff.
You take
walk,
it for granted
run,
now.
Jump.
They take it for granted now, like we all do. But as you get older, you realise how much you need that muscle and how important that is.
And we see it firsthand.
Muscle is heavier.
It's life.
Muscle's heavier as well.
Muscle's heavy. 1 pound of muscle, 1 pound of fat is still 1 pound, but 1 pound of fat is going to be quite significant, and 1 pound of muscle is very dense.
Yes, so that's what I mean. Yeah, sorry. So, for example, you start going to, say you started a new plan. You're eating a bit less. You start going to the gym. Maybe you've never...
Newbie gains.
Newbie gains. They come
You can grow loads of muscle.
Maybe you've never lifted weight before. You jump on that fucking scale a week in, 2 weeks in.
You might be heavier.
And you think, well, the fuck, I'm heavier.
You might be
That's
heavier.
the muscle, darling. All right? That is the
yeah.
muscle. So again, it's having that relationship with being like, okay, just trust this process and understanding that number on that scale, on that shitty little screen, doesn't determine your worth.
No.
It will fluctuate. You weigh yourself in the morning and you haven't had a shite.
Mm.
You're going to be heavier than if you are to have a shite. Maybe you haven't had a shite in a few days. Maybe you're a bit constipated because you're eating crap food. You're going to be heavier. You've just jumped on the scale after drinking. You just downed a glass of water in the morning because you're thirsty, or had a cup of coffee. You will be heavier. You're coming on your period, inflammation, the actual blood, the lining of your uterus, heavier. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to hold water more. There's going to be more fluid retention, everything like that.
There's so many factors, to be fair. More than we could possibly have time to...
phone call. What was going on? Sorry.
More than we'd have time to talk about the reasons why you could effectively gain weight. There's so many variables to weight gain and weight loss. Of course, like we said, like when one of my clients who lost 25 kilos over the long time, and clients,
overall.
Yeah, over the long term. We're
What
talking
we
about in
mean-
the short term.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we're talking progress over a year or 2 years, if you've not lost weight over a year or 2 years, we can't blame fluctuations.
No,
we're
of
talking
course.
about weekly.
Yeah, we're
fluctuations.
talking about weekly. We're talking about when you're stepping on the scales 1 week in and you're heavier, or you're maintaining and you're pissed off, or say you're someone who goes to the I won't say the names, or maybe I will, I don't know, but you're going to the village hall once a week or once a month to be weighed because you're on that plan.
Weight loss groups.
And you get really pissed off when the first week, oh, I lost 5 pounds, stunning. Second week, 2 pounds, okay. Then you're just maintaining it, you're just wondering why. And then you give up.
Yeah, if we're just looking at weight loss as a way of judging progress, imagine you lost all muscle. So imagine you didn't like the way you looked naked, for example, and you ended up losing muscle. You jump on the scales and go, oh, I'm so happy. I've lost a couple of stone. I'm unbelievably happy. You're looking in the mirror and you're still not feeling positive about the way you look, and you've lost 2 stone. So then you're starting to think, well, what is it then? What don't I like about myself? But what you're probably not realising that if you lose 2 stone and a little bit of fat, but a lot of muscle, you're not going to look better naked. The muscles will give your body the structure. The muscles will give you the shape,
the tone. Everyone says
posture.
they want to. Everyone goes, I want to lose weight and I want to tone, but I ain't touching no weights in the gym. You ain't going to tone without building some muscle up, right?
No, not really. I mean, you could probably do a little bit with some body weight, but there's a
no.
point.
But what I mean is, like, people be like, no. I don't want to like do any sort of like strength training is what I mean.
Yeah.
So
it depends on your age, of course, as well.
Yeah. So in terms of other ways, obviously we've talked a lot around that, but other ways to judge it is your energy.
Yeah, energy.
Not waking up in the morning feeling like having peeled out of your bed.
Yeah.
Being tired of an evening rather than your cortisol shoots up and you're like wired.
You should be
like
tired
a night
in the
owl.
evening.
Like
you should be tired. A lot of people will be like, I feel really tired in the evening when they start. It's like, good.
Good. That's
you
what
should
you
be
need.
tired
It's
in the
regulating.
Evening. You should be getting ready for bed.
It's regulating, isn't it? Your circadian rhythm, all of that sort of stuff. It's being able to play with the kids easier.
Clothes fitting better.
Carrying the shopping easier. Clothes fitting better.
Like I said, going up the stairs, being able to put on your socks in the morning.
Not needing caffeine every morning to survive through the day. Not like having less brain fog. Like energy is such a massive one.
Yeah, energy.
And obviously then that leads into confidence. Like the confidence, that's another great way to gauge your progress. How confident are you feeling?
The mental side of it is huge.
Because
we're built to move.
Yeah. Go on.
So we're built to move. What do you think happens to your mental health when you start to move more? Walk a bit more, start lifting weights.
Get out in nature.
This is what we are built to do.
Human connection.
We are not built. So yesterday I was at a diabetes conference, and the main overriding reason why most people have poor health or have diabetes or a long-term health condition generally, unless it's not their fault, type 1, etc., is the fact that as a nation we're not moving enough.
Yeah.
And we're eating too much junk food.
Mm-hmm.
That is the overriding reason why this is happening. It's become too accessible to be able to get junk food because you can order it from your phone, delivered to your house. So there's no reason to be able to go out. Like, you can drive everywhere. You don't have to. You could park close to the shop. So if you move more, you feel so much better mentally.
So confidence being one. To Luke went off on a segue there. Confidence being such a big way, because how many of you, before that weigh-in, before the dreaded weigh-in, you're like, oh, I feel good in this dress today, or oh, actually, do you know what? That's been at the back of my cupboard. I've never worn that, and it's the first time I'm wearing this dress, and do you know what? I feel really good in this, or I feel quite energetic. I've been able to play with the kids after school. I've been more focused this week, and your confidence is coming up. You're feeling good. You step on that scale, and if it says you fucking up half a pound, that's it.
Yeah.
You shoot your confidence down. It's not the weight.
Yeah.
You do that because of your relationship with it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's
like subjective as well, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, it's all subjective, 110%. So another one is, if you've taken photos, like a good thing to do is take photos.
Photos.
I know right
Black and
now
white.
you might be like, I'm not doing that, because that was me.
Yeah.
I wish I had more photos of me before, because when I tell people about, like some of the photos I do have, people like, oh my God, I didn't know that was you. There's hardly any photos of me at that period because I refused to, because I didn't ever want to see, like, I just like, no, don't, I do not feel good. I don't want to see myself like this. And I wish I had, because of the transformation.
It's massive.
Is huge. And I wish I could look back
4
on
stone.
that.
It's massive.
4 stone is such a massive amount. Yeah.
It's a massive amount of weight to lose.
And, so I definitely would recommend, you don't have to show anyone. Even if you are with someone, or you do say you are one of our clients, you don't actually have to show us.
No, you don't have to show us, no. And you'll probably notice that.
You can keep it for
you.
you.
On our social media as well, if you follow us on social media, you'll notice that there is before and after pictures, but that's not mandatory. Some people will want them, and they're like, oh, normally it happens is the after. When a client's at the after, they're so proud, they're like, yeah, post it.
Yeah, the before, they'd be like, don't you ever post this,
that.
until they get to the
Until
after.
you get
they
the
go,
after, like, wow,
oh yeah, because they're
but
so
you don't-
proud of themselves.
I'd advise every single person listen to this. Take a picture of yourself. If you want to lose weight and you're not happy with how you look right now.
Take a picture today.
Take a picture of
Right
yourself today, and I guarantee if you follow a plan for 6 months, a year's time, and you take another picture, you know, where you're doing lots of movement, you're eating well, and you're lifting weights, and you do one solid year, 6 months to a year, and you look at that picture and take another picture, you will look like a different person. Like, I guarantee it. It's not just my opinion, I guarantee.
And not just look, you will feel like a different person.
But can I guarantee you'll lose weight? I can't guarantee that.
Yeah, I can't guarantee you'll lose weight.
I can't guarantee you lose weight, but you'll look a lot better.
But you will look completely different. 100%. So yeah, those are just other ways to... Any others that you can think of? Like energy, confidence, clothes fitting.
We said that.
You know, your sleep,
Health.
your moods, your health, how you're fucking talking to yourself every day. Like, you become more aware of that. And there's so many other ways. So yeah, your worth is not determined by that little silly number on that scale. Yes, for long term, it's a good tool, but it ain't everything. So the two things I say to my huns that are a bit, I mean, all of us are usually a bit scale scared, because that's like society has shaped us around that, that our worth's linked to that. But what I say, and I don't know how you'll feel about this, I say do one of two things. Either chuck the fucking scales out the window, and let's not use the scales. Let's use something else. You can judge other
progress anyway. Yeah. You can do that.
You know, if it depends it depends on the severity of how you're linked to it, right? Because to me, I'd rather, if not weighing yourself means you're going to have more progress because you're more likely to keep going because you're not thinking about that, I'd rather that, because you're going to get better results in the long run. Or what we can do is, and this is what I have been doing with one of my ladies in particular at the minute, is let's rewire it. So you're going to go and you're going to weigh yourself 3 times a week, because studies have shown around that, weighing yourself more. But you'll get like more results because you're like more aware of the fluctuation. So then you're rewiring in terms of, okay, so today I was up a couple of pounds, that's fine.
You can take averages then.
And then you take averages. But you seeing every day, or every third day, 3 times a week, every time you step on that scales, it's going to be different. And then what happens is you become more confident, you become more comfortable with the fact it is different and it does fluctuate. And then what we do is really hone in on all the other things, all the other factors. So then that isn't just the only thing you're connecting your worth to. And that's the rewire, isn't it?
Exactly. And I think it's important for people to know that your lightest weight of the week, so your lightest, whenever you've got the lowest weight, is your truest weight. Because you can gain weight by magically eating something or drinking something, but you can't all of a sudden just dramatically lose weight.
No.
That's your truest weight. So whatever the lightest weight is of the week, if you're weighing every day 3 times, whatever, is your most accurate reading.
Yeah, which is a win. I'll take that, because, that's lovely news, isn't it?
Yeah.
So as I said to you at the beginning, what if your worth didn't come from how little you weigh, but actually how much better your life feels and how much better you feel in yourself, and all them other points that we spoke about. So we put together a free plan for you. So it's completely free. You can download it, you can use it, screenshot it, go back to it, whatever. I'm going to put the link in the description below, and this is the exact plan that I used to lose 4 stone. So it does work, and that was from 7 years ago. And as you can see, the weight has not come back off. So it's not just a quick 8-week shred. It's an actual lifestyle change where then you're not going to be yo-yoing, because like I said before, I spent a good decade yo-yoing up and down in weight, and now I don't. I've maintained, and I pretty much, until recently with the gains train, I have pretty much stayed at the same weight.
Pretty much stayed the same weight, which is interesting.
Which is really interesting. But on that side note, you can tell the work that I do, I'm living proof that works, because I was someone who was petrified of the weight.
To drop 4 stone and not put it back on, that's testament to the mindset.
Thank you very much, sir. But also the fact of, now that I am in a surplus and I am lifting weights because my goals have changed, I'm trying to put weight on now, but we're putting on muscle, not fat. And that was
that's why it's coming on so slowly.
And that's why it was a real head fuck, because obviously for so long I determined my worth to the number on the scales. But it's to show you that this shit does work. Yes, it's not going to be a quick fix. Yes, it's not a fancy fucking thing. It is a real plan I used, and I think about 700 women on this list that are using this plan, and it does fucking work. So enjoy. Let me know how you get on.